All right, we'll go ahead and start. The Village of Lincoln Heights Finance Committee for Monday, April 19, 2021 is now called to order. Roll call, Ms. Randolph.
Councilwoman Laverne Mitchell.
Present.
Vice Mayor Jeannie Stinson.
Present.
Councilwoman Linda Childs Peter.
Present.
Councilman Durance Daniels.
Present.
Councilwoman Tanya Key. Okay, I don't see her. No response for Councilwoman Tanya Key. We do have 4 who are present, and we do have a quorum. Oops.
Okay. Would like to excuse Tanya Key. She is not feeling well tonight.
Motion to excuse.
Second.
Properly moved in second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All righty, thank you. Have our opening prayer. Father God, we thank you for all the blessings.
You're muted, Miss Mitchell.
Amen.
Okay, I don't know why it keeps doing.
Amen.
Amen.
Can
though.
sing a hostess.
Amen.
Oh man,
Amen.
thank you. All right, can I get acceptance for the minutes of the previous meeting of March 15th?
I move to accept the minutes from the previous meeting of March the 17th with any necessary corrections.
Second.
Been properly moved and second. Any questions? Any questions? Hearing no questions, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Right, ayes have it. Thank you. I'm looking over the previous minutes. There isn't much that we need to review. The only thing we really needed to review, I was to ask the mayor if she was able to put us on the Ohio Municipal League email for the newsletter. So let's hope that she was able to do that to keep us informed. So we will go straight to the March 1st through 31st finance report. Ms. Pope?
Good evening, everyone.
Good
You should have
evening.
a copy
Good
of
evening.
the March 1st through the 31st finance report. The finance reconciliation report provides an understanding of the changes in the village's cash position across all funds. So our beginning cash balance at March 1st was $1,620,080.23. Total receipts received for the month of March. We received our January and February monthly Greater Cincinnati Waterworks collection of 31. I'm sorry, I'm skipping over. That is not even where I need to be. I'm sorry. The receipts for the month of March 2021 were $98,570.01. This is a 32% decrease over the same period in March of 2020, where we had $142,891.80. This decrease in revenue is attributed to the following collections received in March of 2020, but we did not receive them in March 2021. There was a January and February payment received in 2020 of $31,203.08. There was a finding for recovery payment received for $13,985.40. And we also received our quarterly Southwest water payment of $25,000. So that's where that is the cause of the 32% decrease. Update regarding the finding for recovery. That is Ms. Hopkins. She will be cited back to court on April 27th at the Hamilton County Courthouse room 510 at 10 a.m. The balance on her account is $38,628. We are able to go to that, excuse me, to go to that court hearing. And then we can also send them a letter, send a letter saying how this, how this has affected us. And I talked to the mayor.
We have to send that letter
Prior to.
Go ahead.
I talked to the mayor and she wants to give her input on this case. So we will be getting together and doing that letter.
Okay, so
You froze.
While she's frozen, I have a question.
Okay.
Are we doing this because she's behind, or is it just time for a review?
No, she's behind. Her payments, she's not making monthly payments the way that she was supposed to be making them. And that's why they're citing her back to court.
So is this her delinquent amount? What is the 38 is what she owes total, right? Or is that the amount delinquent?
That's the balance of her charge.
The total, okay, but what is her delinquent amount? Is she delinquent?
Yes, she's delinquent. I'll have to get you that amount.
Okay.
I'll tell you this, she made a payment last March for this $13,985 payment. And then she just made a payment last month for $340. So the March payment that she made in 2020, it took her to August, I want to say August or September. And from that, she made one payment, $340.
Madam Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
do we need to have an executive session to have a discussion on this? Because
No,
it seems,
I don't.
because to me, it seems that like everybody else in America and the world, they're using COVID as a reason for why they can't pay their bills, can't do this, can't do that, blah, blah, blah. But
Well, we can go into an executive session at the end if you want to. There is some information that we could probably share, like as an avenue that we can take. So we can talk about that at the end of the meeting. We can go in there for a quick minute, and Ms. Powder or Ms. Pope can tell you what action we can do, if that's agreeable with everybody. Is that agreeable with everybody?
depending on what time we let up out of here, my mind might change. No.
Okay, well, if you think we have enough time, then you can make that motion. Go ahead, Ms. Pope.
Madam Chair. Madam Chair.
Yes.
The court is going to take care of this. So the money is going to eventually get to us. Is that not correct?
Yes.
So I don't know.
I'm
not sure what we're talking about in the meeting, other than waiting for the courts to do their thing. And then once they do it, then it's time to react or act on it. At least that's my opinion.
What we're actually talking about is that, so a letter can be written to state our position. And then I guess the question is that letter supposed to be submitted before we go to court? And then we can go to court and go from there to see what's going to happen.
Not before we go to court. The letter can be submitted to use against her case. I guess that's how you say it.
Right, but do we have to
But
submit it or do we?
They already have a court date.
Right.
We have an opportunity to submit our reason why we want them to be, to force her to do what she's supposed to do.
Do we submit that letter prior to the court date to the prosecutors or the Attorney General's office, or do we take it with us that day?
I'll have to check and make sure of that.
Okay, because that's the biggest thing. I mean, if we can submit it, we have to submit it, and then whatever else we need to show up for.
So when I talked to the probation officer, he said we have that option of submitting a letter. So I'll check with them to make sure if we need to actually send it down there, go ahead and send it down there this week, and they have it, in her case folder, or
right
with us.
Okay.
Okay, our next section is automatic clearinghouse deposits received in March, total $29,924.94. They were received from Ohio Business Gateway. That's our tax collection office at the state of Ohio. And it was for $3,984.20. A combination of from the state of Ohio, the gas excise tax, the permissive tax, and the local state tax. They sent a total of $13,052.17. And then Hamilton County Treasurer for the local government fund and the motor vehicle fund. They sent a total of $12,792.94.
Ms. Pope, is all or posted to the general fund, or does any go to a restricted fund?
They go to both. The Ohio Business Gateway goes all to the general fund. The state of Ohio gas, excise, permissive, and local state goes to the general. Permissive tax goes to fund number 202, our special revenue, and then our gas access goes to street and construction, our special revenue. Hamilton County Treasurer, the portion of the government fund goes to the local, which is the general fund. And then the motor vehicle portion goes to also street maintenance and construction, the special revenue fund.
Thank you.
So moving down to the tax comparison table, we show a 63.7 increase in total tax collection during the month of March. The business collections are up 734.9% due to an estimated quarterly payment made by one business in the amount of $15,398. That is the same business that also caught themselves up last year when it was they sent in for, I think it was 2 years, $100,000 worth of payments. So our resident collection for the month of March was $6,338.76. Our business collection was $22,252.08. And our withholding was $29,377.33 for a total income of $57,968.17. Moving down to expenditures, total expenditures for the month of March 2021 was $274,142.87. This amount show a 40% increase in spending when compared to total payments made in March 2020 of $160,035.36. And that increase, that big, huge difference, is because we received January and February's invoices for Hamilton County Sheriff's Department in March. So I paid both of them, which they amounted to $129,007.38. Now, our total checks written for the month of March was $211,048.48. And again, we were going to list any checks that amounted more than $5,000 in a period and for the month. So this is going by check number. Check number 49545 was to Donnellan and Donnellan, and it was in the amount of $10,185.75. Need to take off that 41. His monthly fee is $4,416, and he pays Ms. Ty, the lawyer for Mayor's Court. Out of that, she receives, not out of that, but in addition to that, she receives $500. Our extraordinary fees was $5,269.75. And I
Pope, do you
will
know
be
what some of those?
sending you, I'll be sending you copies of his monthly bill, right? Ms. Mitchell?
Right.
Okay. I'll be sending you guys that monthly.
So do you know what any of his extraordinary fees were for the month of March, what they might have included?
Yes, let's see. So those extraordinary fees were, I'll send you a copy of this. Oh. No, I didn't go down far enough. So it was I'm just trying to pick out something that would.
Yeah, just a couple things, like was it for litigation? Was it for some land?
Yeah, so like on the 4th,
FRP?
like on the 4th, he prepared a list with amount of taxes paid since acquiring 9956 Wayne, 922 Van Buren, and 1332 Congress. He did some work with ODOT.
Okay.
So yeah, and there was parcels, some exempting 3 parcel taxes previously paid. So
Okay,
okay.
thank you.
Okay, and so the second check on page 2, 49571, it was to AA Plumbing. It was for the upgrades to the bathrooms, making them all touchless. And that actually came out of the CARES Act funding. And it was for $37,471. And we already talked about this, but check number 49576 was the one to Hamilton County Sheriff. Their January invoice was $64,090.02, and their February invoice was $64,917.36. In a previous conversation, Ms. Mitchell asked me what could be the difference in that, and if they have to do any kind of repairs on the equipment, it may be a charge, so that might be the additional charge.
Ms. Polk, can you go back to the plumbing for a moment? Does that include plumbing on the police side as well?
Yes, the whole building was
Okay.
upgraded to touchless. So this was the
Okay.
fee for the whole building. The police and the fire.
Okay.
Okay, in last month's meeting, I think there was a request to list the payments when we used the credit card. We had a payment to US Bank for credit card charges in the amount of $1,151.08. And it was Robert's Rules books, $143.92, $257.99 for position advertisement to Indeed, USPS, which is United States Postal Service, for postage, it was $17.60. We had an employee luncheon, I think it was Ms. Hazel's, who retired, LaRosa's Reading, for $75.25. USPS, another postage for $10.74. A purchase at Amazon, $440. That's for computer software. And we do have a business account set up with Amazon, so there's no taxes charged on that when we go out and order the software equipment. Microsoft Center, it was $35.50. That was a compatible computer plug. Another payment to Kroger's for $112.24. That was also the employee luncheon. And then an advertisement for Indeed, $348.94. Okay,
Ms. Pope, I have a question.
yes, ma'am.
So the computer software that upgraded, what software? What
That
was
was
that
the
for?
Microsoft 10. The Microsoft 10 that he has to add on to all our laptops and all our computers. Okay, ACH withdrawals amounted to $63,094.39. These include payments deducted from the general operating account, such as payroll processing fees. ADP had charges for the month for $1,705.73. US Bank monthly service fees, that's their analysis fees for having an account there, is $399.56. We had 3 payrolls processed in the month of March. The third one in March, it's actually, it was processed on the 26th, but we actually didn't get paid until March the 1st. I think that's how it goes. Yeah. And then OPERS retirement contribution, that is for also 3 payrolls. So the bank statement shows the ending bank balance for March 31st, 2021 at $1,483,842.34, with our outstanding checks of $194,326.87, We have a reconciled bank balance March 31st, 2021 at $1,289,515.47. As far as the audit update, the items that I'm working with two separate teams. So I'm working with the local government services and the reconciliation items that she gave me, they have to be approved by the actual audit team. They have been approved by our 2018-19 audit team. So the reconciliation items will be, I think I'm on 20. I already did 18 and 19. I'll give 20 to them this week. And then they should start the 2018-19 audit up within a couple of weeks. So as far as the tax budget 2022, our schedule is April 19th. I'll have a tax budget presentation. May 17th, we'll meet in the finance and go over any corrections or anything that you see that you might have questions on. We'll just, between now and the 17th, you can give me those questions and I can correct the report if anything needs to be corrected, and we'll review that on March 17th. I'm sorry, May 17th. So June 14th, I'll put the ad out and we'll go with Ms. Mitchell. What is it? What's the publication besides Inquirer Media? What's the other one we're going? Herald.
The Herald.
We'll put publications in both of those. The legal ad has to be placed 10 days prior to our public hearing. So June 14th would be 10 days prior to before we have our public hearing. But before that, June 21st, we'll have a final review at the Finance Committee of the tax budget. Then on June 28th, the public hearing is always 15 minutes before the actual council meeting for that evening. And we'll do that at 6:15. And then at the regular council meeting, we'll have legislation for passage of our 2022 tax budget. It has to be passed by July 15th, and it has to be submitted to Hamilton County Auditor's Office July 20th. We're doing it like this so we don't be stuck in a rut if we need that last council date. We shouldn't need it, but if we happen to need it for some ungodly reason, we'll have that day available by pushing this up. Any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and on page 4, we actually have the reconciliation report. And, well,
Ms. Poe,
yes.
before you go on to that, aren't we supposed to correct some figures? We have about 4 expenses, total expenses amounts. We've got the 234,000, the 272,000, and in 2 places it talks about the 274,000.
Okay, yeah. So the 272,000, what Ms. Mitchell is talking about, is on our in the withdrawal section or expense section of the reconciliation report I have withdrawals of $272,161.02. And then when you go to page 6, the actual checks that was the total checks written and ACH withdrawals is $274,142.87. And that is because of a voided check. It was a prior month voided check. So that's why it's off. I had a check that was issued in February and I voided it out in March. So that difference is what that is.
Okay, and so the true figure is the 274?
The true figure of what was written actually that month is, yes, it's 274. And we were also, I'm going to do the expense adjust back on page 4. I left that highlighted, the PEP grant. I have to actually charge that to where we were reimbursed. What fund we were reimbursed for invoice that was paid using fund number 201, the street construction maintenance and repair. It was that metal plate that's up on Lindy and Leggett. So that invoice was $1,074 and they reimbursed us $1,000. So I actually have to do expense adjustment. So you'll see it in street maintenance and repair. And then the unexpended balance on the PEP grant, fund number 221, it'll be 0. Was that all the corrections?
I think that was it.
Okay. So on page 5 and 6 is all the checks that were issued for the month of March. And then at the bottom of page 6, you'll see all of the ACH withdrawals. The
Ms. Pope,
automatic.
I have a question regarding the bonds. So what about the clerk of courts? Has she been bond? Have we done anything with her bonding yet?
The clerk of court is temporary. So I have to.
Oh, I thought maybe we had hired her. Oh, okay.
She's temporary.
Okay.
So the bond payments that are listed on here, it's actually for Ms. Powdrill, myself, and Ms. Peterson.
Okay.
Yeah, it should be $250 in bond payments. The bond payments are paid to USI. So you guys will see that check number 49567 is USI. That's for $100. And then check number 49588 is USI, and that's a bond payment. It's 2 bond payments actually. So if there's no more questions, that is it of my finance report.
And to recommend that council accept the March finance report.
So move to accept the finance report.
Second.
Properly moved in second. Any questions? Hearing no questions, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Righty. Ms. Powdrill has submitted to us, given us a copy of the CDBG grant. Ms. Powder?
Are you can you give me what grant you're talking about, CDBG grant? I didn't see.
You sent us the information that talked about the new 3-year period, right?
Okay.
You sent us,
This was prior to my coming on board, where you was, this is their 3-year allocation. So the final allocation for the village was a total, what was submitted was 150, what was approved was 100,000. 50,000 will go towards Memorial Park, and the other $50,000 will go towards street improvements. The allocations for the 50,000 is for 2021. We will receive nothing for 2022, and we'll get the additional 50,000 for 2023.
okay, so my question becomes, can we find out exactly how much we do have for Memorial Park, which would include our match, what what Silverton was able to acquire for us, and then it would be this 50,000 as well, correct?
That is correct.
Okay,
Donna,
and
can
so
you?
the amount,
I don't have the exact dollar amounts. There is amounts with the funding that you received from Nature Works. Then I believe the total for the funding through that Silverton submitted was 250,000. Then you have the Nature's Works grant, which there is a percentage match to that.
right, that's about 79,000 something.
And then the 50,000.
Okay, so we have about $380,000. I mean, yeah, $380,000 to do for the field. Okay, not bad.
Yeah.
Is there an opportunity to submit for 2022? Has there been any discussion about what might be available? You know, when funds are left over?
There is a mini grant that's out there available. So I have submitted a preliminary request for $8,500 to be used towards updating our street program, as well as our street maintenance program for the next 20 years. So what that will do is update the 2014 street priorities. And then it will look at the streets over a 20-year period and help us determine what funding we will need each year to do these street improvements, so that we can then start to manage or allocate funding over the years to make those improvements. In addition to that, there's some county funding through issue 7 that we can access as well. So there's another 25 to 30 million in funding available for the county to do street improvements as well. And I would like to see CT consultants pursue that. So I will also come back to council with a resolution to pursue some of that funding. And that funding can also be used for sidewalks. So it's for streets and sidewalks. I think Councilwoman
Madam
Mitchell
Chair.
is.
So what are the matches for that, Ms. Powder? We would have a certain match for that as well.
Madam Chair, yes, that would be with the sort of funding, it would be a 10% match.
Okay. So we don't envision that for 2022, do we?
I would very much like to submit for 2021. In my conversation with the Director of Finance is that there is funding available where we can show a match for that. Or you could use OPWC
Okay.
funding as well.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Any questions for Ms. Powder?
Yes, Madam Chair. I missed when she was telling us, all I heard, the last thing I heard was 2023, we are something about $50,000. It's 1 year that we don't get it.
Madam Chair, 2021, I'll start from the beginning. 2021, we received $50,000 to be allocated towards Memorial Field. 2022, we did not receive any funding. In 2023, we received $50,000 for roads or street improvements.
Okay. Does that include catch basins?
I'm not sure. Vice Mayor, I'm not sure, but I can find out for you and send you an email or update the whole council if we can use that for catch basins as well. They've been also very accommodating. If it can fit, they will help us to fit it if that's what we need to do, use it for.
Yeah, I think the catch basins, we've been trying to get those done for the last 2-3 years, ever since we had our first infrastructure levy. And some of that infrastructure levy is supposed to go towards those catch basins. And we have not done a whole lot on it, and that is an expectation. So we really need to look into that, especially once we get the Public Works Department, because that's key. That really, in addition to the streets, which of course we know OPWC will take care of, what we need to be trying to make sure we do is get those catch basins. That's been on the radar for 3 years.
Madam Chair, thank you for pointing that out. I did look at that, and I do want to continue to understand more about that because that's just recently come to my attention. And so I do need to do a little bit more due diligence, but I think there's funding out there for us to focus on that, potentially with the American Rescue Plans, that funding can be used for that type of infrastructure. So that is definitely a conversation that we need to talk about, of using the use of funds, as well as having a conversation with CT, our consultants, because I do believe reading where some of the catch basin work had been done in the past, but like you said, we need to be on a rhythm of doing that to upkeep with the maintenance. And so this new report with CT, if we get the opportunity, if it's approved, it'll help us to be on a schedule and rhythm of making sure we stay on top of that with a skilled director of public works. That will be their responsibility. And I think that they will definitely have the capabilities of doing that.
All right, thank you. Any other questions? All right, Ms. Pope, the tax budget 2022 presentation.
Okay, what's his name? Pavel? Can I get share screen? Is it Pavel? Pavel? I'm sorry.
ICRC.
ICRC. So I can share my screen.
You're all set.
Thank you. Okay, I just sent you guys over the Village of Lincoln Heights tax budget 2022. But I'm going to share my screen so you can
Thank you.
see it, the presentation. Oh, I just learned how to do this last week, so. So here starts my presentation. It's only 6 slides, so we won't take too much time on this. But it has been brought to my attention that maybe I need to further explain exactly what a tax budget is and why is it so important to us to submit on time. So here's my table of contents. We will discuss the 2022 annual tax budget, the schedule. We will talk about what is a tax budget. I'll explain that. We will also talk about the tax budget report. What information do I send to Hamilton County auditors? What information is required? And then, of course, we'll conclude with just the function of the tax budget. So our 2022 annual tax budget schedule is as follows. Today it started where we had a review of the 2022 tax budget. May 17th, we'll make any corrections. June 14th, I will publish the legal ad letting everybody know that we're going to have a public hearing on June 28th. That's where the public is invited. But before the 28th public hearing, we will review the final copy of the 2022 tax budget in its totality. So it'll be all the funds, the levies, and all the information that is required. There is the last page, I believe, is a population assessment sheet that I have to send down with the tax budget. So the tax budget report is actually about 6 pages itself. So, and then on the 28th, we'll present it to council and you guys will pass this budget, this tax budget 2022. So here's the question, what is a tax budget? I'm not going to read this verbatim because I did send you guys over a copy, but it is a financial plan for the operations of the next calendar year. So it identifies all the money that we receive, all the and from the different places, from the state, from federal, from any grants that we receive, any federal funding that we receive. So it's reported that I gather all this information and put it into a report form that the auditors at Hamilton County will review, and then they'll submit it to the commissioners, and the commissioners will actually approve our 2022 tax budget. If there's any questions, and I've had this before, they will send out a letter and have me come down and explain why we need this levy or what's going on with this levy. So if they have any kind of questions, they will reach out to the community and ask for you to come down to one of their meetings. So the budget is submitted to the county budget commissioners and used to approve property tax rates. Property tax rates is a bear. It is something that you just have to look over and try to figure it out. But once you figure it out, it's pretty simple. So the property tax rates in Ohio are expressed as millage rates. One mill is equal to $1 of tax for every $1,000 in assessed value. So when we go to calculate this, we would take our, now my throat is getting dry. We would take this total value of our properties, our assessed values is $20,367,000, $300,000. So we would take that amount and you would multiply that by these 16 mills. And what we expect to receive from the general operating levy is $325,877. So you would do that, you would take the millage and multiply it by this 20 million all the way down this list. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 levies that are out there. We have this one inside millage. Inside millage does not have to be voted on. That's where the Ohio Constitution allows 10 mills. So we have 2.78 of those 10 mills that they divide amongst everybody in the county. And then we have to, if we want to add any levies, then we have to take that out to vote for our people. Now, as you can see, Ms. Mitchell, I'm glad you told me to put this on here. The infrastructure levy expires 2021. So we have to put that out for vote this year. The general operating levy, you'll see that this report is from 2020. I apologize, I didn't have a 2021 report. But the general operating levy, we put that on for vote last year, so it's good for 5 years. This infrastructure levy, we have to put it out to the public to vote on that, and it'll be good for 5 years. These 4 in the middle, they're continual, so we don't ever have to put them out. They're going to be levies forever.
Now, when we put the police levy out there, we don't advertise it as police pension. We just say police.
Yeah, well,
We advertise it as one.
because it's a continual, so we don't have.
No, I'm saying even if we say people are saying our levies are up, we just say vote for fire and police levy. We don't indicate that there are 2 police levies. We just say police.
Right. Okay. So if you are ever trying to calculate on this other side, you would take 35% of your home's value, and then you would use 20. So it would be 25,000 times 35%, which comes out to be 8750. Then you would take that number and multiply it by 0.016, which is the 16 mills that we have. And then you would multiply that number by 0.875 to get your monthly amount that each one of these levies would cost you based on the value of your home. So that calculation is already in there. That's how they determine how much you're going to pay for all the levies that are out there. So here's a picture of the tax budget report, what it would look like, and the information that's submitted to the auditor's office, who then submits it to the county commissioners. So under the revenues, it would be 2 years of actual, 2019 actual, 2020 actual. You always place the budget year that you're in. So it's your budget year appropriations for 2021, and then your budget year estimates for 2022. Some of these estimates are average guesses. So it might be these first 3 numbers divided by 3, and they might come out to be 739. Real property tax, you can do the same thing with that. Just take an average and submit it. On the top half of the report would be the revenue section, and then we'll go to the expenditure section, and it'll also include 4 years of expenditures. So it'll be actual for 2019, estimates for 2020, the estimate for 2021. I need to change this. This number needs to be actual for 2020. And then it'll be estimate for 2021, and it'll be an estimate for 2022. So I'll change this this header before I send it downtown. Now, each one of these reports they have a template that they send out. So it's nothing that I have to do on my own. It's a template that they send to all the finance directors or clerk treasurers or whatever. But it's a template that you use, and it has your general fund balances. So it'll be, and I just put general fund on here, but it'll be for each one of the levies. So each one of the levies will have this revenue, expenditures, and then the ending. So it'll have revenues over or under expenditures, and you'll see that number. The beginning unencumbered balance, you'll see that number. The ending cash balance, you'll see that number. Estimated encumbrance outstanding at 12/31, you'll see that number. Most of the time, you don't want to have an estimated encumbrance. You don't want to have an encumbrance at the end of the year. You want to close out all your encumbrances. So that's why that is usually 0. And then the estimated ending unencumbered fund balance. So this number right here where I have my cursor on, this 325, that is your ending estimated unencumbered balance. It will move up to your beginning unencumbered balance in the next column. And that's how it just continually moves there. So in one of the reports I didn't read here, I think it's this one. It states that, no, it's this one. It states that the tax budget does not have to be in balance. That's because they know your expenditures will exceed your revenues, but you have that beginning balance that you're working with. So this 325 becomes my beginning balance. So if my expenditures are over my revenues, I still have this number to tack on to my beginning balance. And then when I subtract it out, it should balance out. So you'll see in these 2021 and 2022 columns that where the expenditures are more than the revenues, the estimated revenues. But we came into the year with $767,222. That was our carry forward balance. So we add that on to the revenues, and then your ending cash balance won't be in the negative. It cannot be in the negative. So after we conclude and send all of that, my conclusion just says the tax budget gives management the flexibility to generate a wish list of programs, capital outlay, and staffing requirements that can be used to formulate policy and priority. So if we know what we need going into the beginning of the year, even though a tax budget is due in July, you have a pretty good idea on where your money is flowing. So at the end of the year, you can kind of estimate or forecast what your end of the year balance is going to be. So we'll know if we need to move money anywhere. And here it says again, the tax budget does not have to be in balance. That is, expenditures can exceed resources, thereby giving the ability to assess the ultimate needs of the jurisdiction. So if they know that our expenditures are more than our revenues, they know we need those levies to be able to function as a community. So one critical function of the tax budget is that it is often the basis for formulating the distribution of the state's shared revenue, the county in 3 forms, the local government fund, revenue assistant, and the local library. We don't have a library, so we won't get that pot of money. The government support funds is any of our grants that we receive. And it says receives the shared revenue. The county auditor distributes the funds based upon the aforementioned formulas. So if there's a need, we might get more than, say, our neighbors because they see that we have a need for more support. So, and that is it. If you have any questions.
So Ms. Pope. Anybody having questions?
Yeah, Madam Chair. Madam Chair.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. To Donna, we talked about putting on the levy. You're talking about a November levy.
Yes.
That means that we have to start to sell the public on that prior to that levy. We did a big push on that last time.
Yeah, we have 90 days. It has to be, I think it's a 90-day thing that it has to be advertised. So I'll call down tomorrow and see exactly when I need to start putting out information, and also probably some flyers. But this is a renewal. It's not a new one. It's a renewal. So normally the renewals go a lot smoother than if it's something new. So a renewal just takes one vote and it'll pass. So one positive vote.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is just a renewal of the original infrastructure that I believe was on in 16, 15.
That'd be 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I need to ask ICRC. I have also signed in under another one, and I'm waiting to get in because my Zoom keeps going in and out.
Okay.
So sometimes I don't see you all and I don't hear you. So he needs to let me in on the other one. So Donna, my question is, when you do the tax budget and you're estimating,
She froze. Oh, there you are. She's down there.
all right, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna come out of this other one.
A lot of feedback going on there.
No, I'm gonna leave the other meeting. Okay, now. So the question is, so when you do the salaries, do you use the salaries for the current year, or do you try to estimate that it might be an increase?
On the tax budget, I did estimate an increase.
Okay,
There are areas that I will estimate an increase. There are areas where we take an average. And then in some areas in the revenue section, the county actually sends me what we're going to receive in local government funds,
right,
our share. So I'll just put that amount in there. And a lot of times it's the same. I think it was 123 last year and it was 123 this year. So, but they'll send me that information. And then if I send my report down and the information is different, they'll call me and say, no, this number should be that. You need to change it and resubmit it. So.
okay. Okay, so in the conclusion, where we talked about the wish list, I was telling Ms. Pope that in years past, we actually submitted a list that went in with the tax budget that talked about what those things may be. So although they may not be put in here, council needs to begin to think about that for the actual budget. For instance, I believe in Ms. Powell mentioned something about contacting some firm to talk about what renovations might look like at City Hall. You know, so we need to think about that. We need to talk about that because that would be something, if you're looking at that for a possible 2022, that needs to be put in there. That's one of those things that would make it, our expenditures exceed our resources, which is okay. But we need to at least think about that and what that might be. The same thing for if our tax administrator is leaving, thinking about retiring again, then we need to put what? If she's not leaving until maybe late 22, do we need to look at putting something in there for a part-time finance person who might take her place to learn up under her? Last year, prior to Miss Powdrell, I submitted something for a summer youth work program, calculated it all out, the number of weeks, the pay and all of that. Didn't go anywhere. But if we want to try to hire some youth, that is something that we can look at to put into our tax budget. And if it doesn't go into the tax budget, we need to be looking and considering it for when we do start looking at the budget come August, September. So those are the things that I'm aware of that generates that wish list. So I would like to see us look at, is there anything we need to put in that wish list now into that tax budget? It doesn't have to be all these things, but if there's something that you're thinking about, then we need to try to take a look at that for the June meeting. Would that be the time to do that, Ms. Pope? Right?
Well, now, when you talk about wish list, this is not something that I don't need that list to submit to the county, but
I'm talking about the amount of money.
huh?
I'm talking about the amount of money that might take that, not the list itself, but to account for it in the tax budget.
Yeah, but we won't send it with the tax budget. We'll use it
Okay.
as a tool for us, a template, but I won't send it down with the tax budget.
So it would not be included in those dollars?
No, because these are estimates and they're going to change anyway when we come to do the regular when we start talking about the regular appropriation budget in September. Then that's when we can pull out this tax budget and say, hey, look, this is where we started at, and we want to include these our wish list. We're going to be over. Because on this one it is the tax budget. I think it was $180,441. So this is just the estimate of what 2022 would end up at. We don't want it to be, I don't want it to be that low. But we do know that we have some salaries in here that are more.
Okay, so in the tax budget that you have connected, you have some things highlighted. Is there some things you want to discuss with us? You have some things highlighted in the tax budget that's at the end of the finance narrative, end of the finance report.
Okay, let me see.
On page 2. I think those are some things that members of the committee, when we met last week, there were some blanks. And I was asking, why do we not have some things in there that we had the previous year?
Okay, so if I'm looking at this one, the first one, oh no, that's page 1.
No, go to page 2, I think.
Your page 2, we added the $5,000 for contract services for the building department. But we don't know in 2022 if we actually gonna have a need right here for the building department. It depends on how the code enforcer works out and where we pay him from. If we're gonna pay the code enforcer from salaries, or if we're gonna take part of the CDBG monies and pay the code enforcers. So I just left it at $5,000 as an estimate. And the same with council contract services. I left that as the same as an estimate. Well, actually, other than the salaries and benefits, yeah, I left some things the same. But let's see if I have
Yeah,
any.
go to the contingencies on page 3 as well. Oh, go back up to clerk of court, yeah.
Clerk of court, I highlighted that because I need to, after Ms. Key brought it up, I need to confirm that benefits for the clerk of courts can be taken out of 229 Mayor's Court Clerk. They originally they said I could, but I'll confirm since she brought that up, saying that she didn't believe that it could be taken out of 229. So that's why I highlighted that, to make me check with the auditors. Now, this contingency amount, we increased that because after our conversation, we were saying the contingency needs to be more than $50,000 because we need to make it more of a rainy day fund instead of just in the contingency line item. Previously in contingencies, we paid for any legal lawsuits. So we've had a $25,000 lawsuit that we paid out in 19. We didn't have any in 20.
Right. And I had mentioned that in years past, the contingency was more than 50, but it was used for more than just litigation. It was used for exactly that, rainy day or any emergencies, especially with streets or the building. I think we had some issues with our roof one time, and we used the contingency money for that.
So when we have the rainy day fund, is that something that actually requires resolution to start a rainy day fund?
Yeah, I think it does, if you want to call it a rainy day fund, but I think at some point we did have one that was actually named that. But
so that's not necessary to actually start a new fund for it. It's just
right. It's just another word to say, hey, this is our money on the side in case we need it.
Okay.
Same as
So, well, then we have it right here for 97.
right.
And you'll see the ending balance after we increased those in those areas, it came down to 126,234. Okay. So this is how all of the levies, the information is going to be identical. So you will have, this is what I'm submitting to the county commissioners. It'll have the general, the police pension, the fire fund, the police fund, and the infrastructure levy. So all of this information will be the same. It'll be the revenues for each levy, the expenditures for each levy, and the ending balances for each levy.
Okay. Any other questions for Ms. Pope on her presentation? Good presentation, Ms. Pope.
Thank you.
So that brings us, any questions? That brings us to miscellaneous. I do have a couple of things, and the first one is the infrastructure. So we need to begin to look at, Council, Ms. Powell, do we need to increase our infrastructure? Is that the amount that we needed to have? I heard you, my screen had gone out, but I think I heard Ms. Pope, you say something about it is a renewal. So renewal means at the same rate. So if it was new, it would be if we decided to increase it a couple of points, right?
Right.
Okay. Do we need to, is this one of the levies that we can look at as being continual?
I'll have to check with that because I don't know why this one isn't continual. I know the general operating, it has to be voted on every
Oh,
5
yeah, right.
but I can check and see why when we first submitted for that, why we didn't ask
Right.
it to be continual. So
Well, you know what, since this is the first time that we are, that is coming to expire, all the rest of them were like, every 5 years we had to go back, and then, why do that if we kind of know we're not going to increase it? So it was just like, hey, let's just make it continue, and that's one less thing we have to keep going back to the voters for. So,
well, we did increase the police and the fire back in
right.
2017.
I mean, you can increase it, but on a particular year, but you don't have to do it. If you're not going to do it every 5 years, then you might as well have it continue.
Okay.
So if you check on that, I appreciate it. The other thing I just want to ask the Vice Mayor and Councilwoman Baber, how they're coming with the budgets for their events that they are working on. Ms. Baber, especially Juneteenth. So we only have 30,000 for Lincoln Heights today. Are you submitting something for Juneteenth, or are we definitely having Juneteenth?
It doesn't seem that I will be submitting anything for Juneteenth because I did notice an email where somebody has offered to do that function. The only thing that I would ask that that we do receive their certificate of liability prior to
insurance.
Yes, because they
Okay.
did say that they have insurance, so they need to submit that as well with their application so that we can see it. It's just
So
a matter of them. Go ahead.
So is this someone that is saying they're going to do a Juneteenth celebration in Lincoln Heights?
Correct. The assistant for Miss Padro, she had emailed Recreation Committee today, and I guess they wanted some input on could they do the function or not. I guess because they knew that we were in the midst of planning to do a Juneteenth function. So I'm okay with them doing the function as long as they submit the certificate of liability.
Okay.
So nope,
Thank
we won't be
Thank-
looking for any money for that.
you. Vice Mayor?
No, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have anything to report on your budget or anything over the 30?
For Lincoln Heights Day?
Uh,
No. Like what?
okay. I don't know.
Give me an
That's what I'm
idea what
asking.
I might need to report back on, because maybe I might have something. Just tell me what you
No, my
want.
question was asking if you had anything to update us on. The last time you said they just gave you all, each group had a general amount, what they wanted for their activity.
Mhm.
So did it come to 30? Did it go over 30?
Oh yeah, it was it's still that 60,000 or so. That number hasn't changed.
Okay, and so we have every mechanism in place to have funds received.
Sure,
I'm-
sure.
Oh,
Miss
okay.
Donna, you going to work every day, don't you? That's our mechanism. When that check comes, you know where to put it. I don't know what you're asking, Miss LeVert.
Well, I'm just trying to say, do we have an idea if you all have raised money already? So do we have anything that has come in over 30,000?
No.
Over,
You mean has somebody written a check for over 30,000?
No.
We got
has
checks that's
anybody-
coming in, Miss Laverne. We have,
Okay.
I know 3 that are coming in. I don't know if she got them yet, but she know what to
Okay.
do with them. Put them in the right account. Sure.
Okay. I'm just trying to see if we have more than $30,000 yet.
Because let me explain something, Ms. Laverne. Right now, we're not concentrating on the donations. We're only doing sponsors right now. And sponsors, as you should know, would be 5,000 or more. And people that donate 5,000 or more as sponsors, they know how it goes. And Ms. Pope, she's been in on every email, a confirmation of sponsorship.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
So the sponsors, sometimes, the reason I ask, sometimes sponsors will go ahead and pay for that themselves or provide it without the money.
Yes, we do have a couple of people that we're trying to
Okay.
get some providing from, but
Okay.
they haven't provided it yet.
Okay, so mankind.
But
Okay,
I have something I'm going to ask for in miscellaneous though.
go ahead.
Is it miscellaneous time? Okay, I noticed that Ohio has it's a Ohio House Bill 168, where it's a grant money for daycares. I had pulled it up, but I got off of it, for daycares, fairs, and it's a couple of other things. And it's a bipartisan bill. It's passed in the House. Now it's going to wherever the next step is. It's going to pass. My ask is, once it does pass, when it's time to start asking for the money, if the village could apply for the money for a fair.
A fair or Lincoln Heights?
I don't know how it's going to be. I don't know how the paperwork is going to go, how that works. Once it passes, then we'll have more information. But it's for people that you couldn't do a fair or anything during COVID because it was COVID time. So they're opening up grant money for fairs.
Okay.
So I'd like for us to be able to apply for some of that once it's approved.
Okay,
Yes, I'm just trying to be proactive, Ms. Mitchell.
that's okay.
Oh,
That's
thank you
good.
so much for your approval.
So when we think about Lincoln Heights Day and even Juneteenth, so this is a Powell question, Ms. Powell. So do we have something in place in case we are still red? And if we are red, are we still going to have the events?
I would think that is an answer that the committee would make, or a decision they would make based upon where the governor is. I know the committee wants to keep the community safe, and they would
Okay.
not do anything that would put the residents of Lincoln Heights at risk.
She's talking about the money, Ms.
So-
Powell. She's saying that if we are in the red, do we still get the $30,000? And let me tell you something. I am more for the village of Lincoln Heights than I am a fair. If we need that $30,000, Ms. Mitchell, take the $30,000 because we're gonna get we're gonna get something to do something.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Vice Mayor,
If that $30,000 is gonna put us under.
No, I'm not talking about the money. I'm just talking about the event itself. If we are deep in red, or if we are orange, Ms. Powell said, based on what the governor is saying. All right, so if the governor is saying, oh, okay, we need to drop back on our attendance and different things, what do we have a plan B? Do we have something else to do?
Oh, I thought you meant like in the red as far as our
Oh.
finances, but you mean like in the red as far as
For
COVID is
COVID.
concerned.
For
Okay,
COVID.
I got you. Okay. But I'm gonna tell you, Ms. Mitchell, if things are bad with COVID, I said at all the meetings, my number one priority is that all our folks stay safe.
Okay.
So I would shut it down and people would get their checks back ASAP.
Okay.
I'm saying that's what I would do. I want people safe. You can't have fun if you worried about catching the heebie-jeebies.
Okay. Thank you, Vice Mayor. So those are all the things I have for miscellaneous. Does anybody else have anything else? Go ahead.
Yes, I meant to ask a question about the gas tank. Our gas tank that we keep back there, I know that years ago was not in the best of condition. Have we looked more into how we're going to replace that or fix it, or what we can do? Because to me, that's a safety issue. If the tank is an old raggedy tank, anything could happen.
Well, I think we did do that in our last budget, right, Ms. Polk? We talked about that. Something was about $8,000.
We got
Oh,
the
maybe I had
diesel
took a break
side,
then.
we got the diesel tank, and then
That's
we
right, that's
were
Mhm.
it was a metering system where we could track who's using the gas. That
So we have a new tank.
no,
We got a new
So it's
tank.
not a new tank, it's just a meter that we got new, right?
no, it's the tank that we got new.
Oh,
And the
okay.
meter is the other part of that.
So we had to get both.
We didn't order that.
Ms. Polk. Madam Chair,
Yeah, go ahead.
Ms. Polk, would you just please tell them what we need?
Well, I think the metering system was actually on a wish list. It was part of the list that, you know, to make the system more better. I mean, better. Make it better.
Right.
I'm sorry. She already corrected me once on that. Make it better. But we did get the tank that was needed. We did get that.
So we did not get the measuring so that we would know how much it's been. Oh, we need to do that. Wasn't that as part of the budget? I thought?
But that wasn't a priority. It was a wish list. He wanted that.
Okay, well, we need to get that if we, you know, to monitor. So what do we have to do to get that? Just make a motion?
No, you don't have to make a motion.
Okay, we need to get that. I thought that we got both. Okay. Because was that about $3,000 or something?
No, that one, the $8,000 one.
Oh, that was the 8,000. Okay,
We
well,
got
we
the
need that.
$3,000 one. We got
Okay.
it was like 37. We got that one.
But that helps us know how much gas is being used and all of that. That's the tank is just as important. I'm with the vice mayor. We don't. That's old. Then we try to paint it at one time.
We got the tank. We got a new tank. That's what we need.
But we need the measuring piece because that helps us gauge our usage, right?
Who's using? Oh, I'm sorry.
Who uses it?
Ain't nobody using it with the police department. We'll have a service department now.
Use it.
We don't. Yeah, but I think it's 8,700.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get that. if the manager so desires.
Okay.
Anything else for the good of the order?
Ms. Charles Jesus is raising her hand.
Okay, I don't see that.
Because I never did get the answer that I wanted.
What was needed was the tank.
What do we need to finish the whole thing? That's what is the answer to what's next on the step to complete the gas place back there? What's next? What do you need to order?
We ordered the tank that was needed. The measures, we ordered measuring system.
The gauge, yes, the gauge.
Yeah.
So the gauge is the last piece of that.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's all. I just need, what do you need? Okay, thank you.
Anything else? I can't see anybody's hands or anything like that, so.
Okay.
I have I wanted to let everybody know that I sent you a quarterly / comparison report for March 31st.
Say that again?
A first quarter / comparison report for the first quarter ending March 31st.
Mm-hmm.
What is this year? 21. And you have that.
Madam Chair.
Are you going to
Madam-
share it?
You want me to share it?
Yeah, I mean, because did you send it?
I
don't
sent
think
it to everybody
today or?
today during the
Oh,
meeting,
okay.
matter of fact. So you just got it. You just received it.
Oh, okay.
Madam Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
this is a document that I suggested to the Director of Finance just to give the committee some awareness of where we are compared to where we were previous years, and to explain if there's some really significant variances that we need to let the committee know about.
Okay,
So
thank
it's
you.
just an additional item.
Donna, you gonna share?
Yes, ma'am. I had a roadblock in it a minute ago. Like, what am I doing? Okay, here it is. I go back into share screen. So all my formatting is messed up now. It did look pretty before, guys. But
It don't have to look pretty, it just need to be accurate.
it did look pretty. So here what I did was for March 31st, I gave you the fund balances for the beginning of the year. This column here is the fund balances. Oops. The beginning fund balances. I gave you the 2021 revenue estimates versus the 2021 year-to-date collections, and the percentage difference, or percentage received, I'm sorry, in column H. And then moving over to appropriations. And I did the same thing with 2021 appropriations. I gave you the estimated appropriations. I gave you the current month-to-date, year-to-date 2021 expenses, and so far what we've spent from the original appropriations. Then over here on the comparison side, I gave you the unexpended balance. The unexpended balance is the balance that is remaining after the invoices are encumbered and our monthly payments are processed. So in other words, is what we have in encumbrances and already spent. So this is the unexpended balance for 3/31/2021. And then I included a column for unexpended balance for 3/31/2020. So you can see in this column here, you can see the net change, $315,135.93. And so what I did is on here, I explained the major, the big ones, which would be the general fund, the street maintenance and repair fund, and also down here on the infrastructure levy. Those are the major differences.
Donna, can you enlarge it just a little bit?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Oh, much better. Okay.
So down here, I explained these three. So in the general fund, our unexpended balance is the balance remaining after invoices are encumbered and monthly payments are processed. The unexpended balances are higher because of the coronavirus relief fund. The coronavirus relief fund allowed payments that would normally be charged to the general fund to be redirected to that fund. So overall, our percentage change is 50% reduction in payments when compared to March 2020, I'm sorry. So that's this number here. Here's the dollar change. And then it equals 50% reduction in payments. And that's because a lot of these payments here were directed down here to the coronavirus fund. Now, in the street maintenance and repair fund, this net change of $68,503. The unexpended balance in 3/31/20 was 76,191, and in this month it was 144,694.88, meaning that we didn't spend as much this year when compared to March of last year, and that is attributed to reduced vehicle and equipment repairs and street maintenance and repair fund. So that's a 47% reduction in payments. So when I look back on my detailed report in contract services for verse 2020, verse 2021, I think it was only like a couple $1,000s that we had paid out of contract services. So that's a huge reduction in payments.
Ms. Pope,
Yes.
can you explain unencumbered versus unexpended?
So unencumbered is the amount you take your appropriation amount. So if our appropriation amount is $1 million in the general, we have $1 million to appropriate wherever we're going to use it at. The unencumbered balance is the amount that's totally left over. It does not include your encumbrances. It's just the balance after you've made all your payments that you're going to make towards that $1,862,000. The unexpended includes your appropriation. So you might have 50,000 in encumbrances, and then you might have 600,000 in unencumbered. So the unexpended includes both of those totals. The unencumbered is just that's money that you haven't you haven't allotted to go anywhere yet. You haven't made payments towards it. We know it's there, but we haven't used it yet.
Thank you.
So now in the infrastructure levy, there's a 33% reduction in payments made in 2021 versus 2020. And that's because all of the OPWC payments were postponed into 2021. So we had some annual payments that we don't have to pay until this year. So.
And those payments were carried over, right?
Yeah. They were actually, the first bill that was in January, it still only had the current amount that was due. So I'm believing that they're putting that on at the end of the.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I sent this to you guys about 6 o'clock. So you just got this quarterly comparison report. There's a couple columns that I didn't have time to include, and that's January, February, March actuals, the 20 versus the 2021. So I'll include that and send it back out to you.
So is that attached with the tax budget presentation? You sent them both at the same time?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
okay.
This one is. And this report is by fund, it's not by line item. So it's everything that's included in the general fund. It's everything that's included in the street maintenance and repair fund. So it's not by line item. It is by fund.
All the places where we put money.
Yes. And we did receive our property tax settlement payments in April. So when you come down here to these 3 funds right here, you'll see this number go up because we have received it. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. So, committee members, we didn't know we were getting this, so you have an opportunity to look over it. By all means, please give Ms. Pope a call if you need further explanations or if you have a question about something. Ms. Powell, I really appreciate this particular document. It is quite helpful.
Madam Chair, you're welcome.
All righty. Any questions about anything? Okay, I don't think we have anyone on the meeting with us from the public. But if we do, no, thank you, Ms. Randolph. If there's nothing else, we move for adjournment.
Good meeting. I motion for adjournment.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Night.